You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Get ready. It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guy. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. Once again, I'm Big Q, and on the line we got DC chiming. This is podcast 261 on the Sports Coma, 261 on the podcast, and in this episode, we'll be previewing an all-important matchup between the Los Angeles Rams and the New Orleans Saints in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome coming up on Sunday. Another major game, and every week it seems to be high energy effort game as the battle-tested Saints are ready for another thrilling matchup. Toughest schedule in the entire NFL, hands down. LSU got the toughest schedule in the SEC, and the Saints just showing everybody in the NFL that they're ready for whatever's going to happen. Cam Jordan said the Saints are battle tested. He said here for all smoke, whatever that means. So, but anyway, like we said, it's going to be a jam-packed show here for a 30-minute Sports Coma. We're going to talk about Saints news and notes in this. We're going to talk about the injuries that's happening with our team. We'll also talk about a few interesting stories, like the fact that a certain defensive back for the New Orleans Saints, not named Apple or Lattimore, got the player of the week. Could you imagine that? I didn't see that coming, but we'll talk about it today on the show and speak about it. We'll also have a few interviews we'll play as Drew Brees chimes in on his thoughts about the Rams. We'll also have Sheldon Rankins chiming in, and we might play a little bit of Marcus Davenport as he chimed in as well on the show. So we'll also have the Sports Coma question of the day, and we'll read replies from the previous question of the day. All that today on the Sports Coma, episode 261. So without further ado, let's get right into it on this interesting podcast. Now, starting off, the Saints had an interesting week, man, as they took down the Minnesota Vikings 30-20. Got the revenge in there, knocking off those stinking Vikings. Now they get a little revenge as the revenge tour continues. Now they facing off against the same Ram team that beat the Saints last year in Los Angeles. We got a tough foe here. Might be the toughest foe we play all season long. That includes our battles with Atlanta and upcoming 2 games against Carolina, who looking pretty stern too. That's the interesting part about this. Let's get right into the game. The Rams, of course, coming in this one, man, a well-rounded matchup between 2 powerful teams. That Rams team, if you look at what they are made of, I mean, my goodness, they just made a trade for Dante Fowler, who had 7 or 8 sacks for the team for the Jaguars last year, and they add him to the staff. Looking at what the Rams were able to put together, they're looking tough. Green Bay played them last week out there in Los Angeles. Green Bay kept them under wraps for the first half, and then all of a sudden, bam, they exploded for a ridiculous amount of points. Green Bay couldn't keep up with them and could have had the game in hand if it wasn't for Montgomery fumbling, which ultimately got him traded out of there to Baltimore or wherever he went. But anyway, what's interesting about this matchup is the fact, like I said before, the Rams are undefeated. They're coming into the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. The Saints playing at an all-time high level. The Saints have won 6 games in a row. They're burning up hot. The team is playing with confidence. The offense is rounding into focus. And despite the fact the Saints don't have Ted Ginn Jr., and now we have a few injuries that we're going to tell you about dealing with Saints lineup that's going to affect this game. I had to take a deep breath on this one, because after watching what Marcus Davenport did in the Minnesota game when he had 2 sacks, and then one of those sacks was almost a sack, strip, fumble recovery, what have you. Now it looks like Davenport, who is dealing with a toe injury that he got in the Minnesota game toward the end of the game, but he also dealing with hip injuries, and the kid's just banged up. But anyway, this is, of course, he was seen in a walking boot, and he went through several scans, and they found out that he could possibly miss up to a month worth of football dealing with a toe injury. Also, if he's had some hip injuries that he's been battling. Remember, he had earlier that hand injury where he had during the preseason camps. So the poor kid, he's out. And it's a bad time for the Saints because, they have a series of injuries at the defensive end position. Trey Hendrickson hasn't played since week 1 against Tampa Bay. Alex Okafor is definitely going to have to see more opportunities in this game. And of course, Saints dealing with injuries at the defensive line position. It's not looking good, DC, with Marcus Davenport out. Let's talk about that, man. Davenport's out with a toe injury, and they saying he could miss up to a month worth of football. Couldn't have come at a worse time for that Saints defense. Also, Trey Hendrickson and a few other guys are missing, but Okafor might get an opportunity. It's going to get more reps in this game. So let's talk about that Davenport injury. What's your take on that?
We have somebody there already ready to start that's already been doing it. And Trey Hendrickson is a very good defensive end to come off the bench. I think any team in the league would definitely want him as a backup. So he didn't play since week 1, but I don't think it'd take him long to figure it out. I mean, this is the guy that came in the playoff game in Minnesota and played pretty well. Pretty much first major significant time all year. So I think we can manage and we'll be fine. I don't think it'll hinder the game plan. But losing a guy like Davenport, I mean, he's basically starting to turn into a Pro Bowl caliber guy. So that's definitely going to hurt a little bit. But hopefully his injury isn't as bad as what I'm hearing about him being out a month and all that. Maybe it's just a couple of weeks. Supposedly someone is told maybe it's a minor fracture or a slight break or something. He did play the rest of the game with it, so that's
they spoke about him possibly re-injuring it at the end of the Minnesota Viking game. That's too bad, but Saints have to rely on the depth now. Alex Okafor is going to have to step up. Of course, the team is, like I said, they're not there. Missing Trey Hendrickson, he's not there. Mitchell Lowen is also missed practice with a back injury. He hasn't played all season long. He could have been really useful to have him. But there were 4 other players limited in practice dealing with the Saints. Michael Thomas is dealing with a shoulder issue. Teron Armstead forever is dealing with knees. Max Unger has an elbow situation. Cameron Meredith is still having a knee situation. And like I said, man, when it comes down to it, a lot of these players are basically trying to find the Saints looking at some injuries here. Hopefully some of these guys will play. I know Teron Armstead said he's supposed to play. Thomas is going to play Unger elbow, and we know Cameron Meredith with his knee. So when it's all said, the Saints have moving forward, and they couldn't have a worse series of injuries against a tougher foe than with them facing off against the Rams. Now, before we get into the Rams breakdown, the Saints, I have to give big credit to the Saints. I mean, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. 6 straight games, 6-1, first in the NFC South. They leading over Carolina, who's 5-2. They're 1 game ahead of them. They have a major challenge in the Los Angeles Rams. A lot of people, this team is 8-0, 4-0 away, and it's going to be interesting. They take that record into the Dome. A lot of people got this even between these teams. A lot of people say it's a 50-50 matchup because they're not disrespecting the Saints offense, figuring that they have a defense to complement them now. So looking at some of the statistics, I'm going to run it down right now. The Rams averaging 33 points a game. Saints 33.4. Saints giving up 26 points a game on defense. Of course, that's the deceiving number. The Rams top-notch defense is just giving up 19.4 points a game. Saints throw 400 yards a game total. The Rams are 455.5. Saints throw 392 yards a game. Rams are 304. Almost 305 a game. Saints rushing 108 yards flat a game. The Rams 151 a game. Defense giving up 353 yards a game is the Rams. Saints giving up 389.9. Might as well say 390 yards a game, which is 316 yards through the air. The Saints surrender and stopping you from running the ball with 74 yards, which is tops in the NFL. For the Rams, they'll allow you to throw 252 yards through the air, but they'll allow you to rush 101 yards a game. So as tough as they are and as hard, and you have a series of issues and problems with this Rams defense. And then Dominican Sue, the Saints almost got him. He chose to go up there and play with Michael Brockers and one of the toughest defensive linemen in the league. The little bowling ball.
He's a D tackle and he's leading the league in sacks, dude. That's insane.
It's absolutely just outstanding. On the offensive side, Jared Goff, 17 touchdowns on the year, 5 interceptions, 2,425 yards, 171 of 253 Of course, our Drew Brees, 1,900 yards, 1,990 yards on the season, 14 touchdowns, 1 interception. His first interception was thrown last game. That's just absolutely astounding. 188 out of 243 for Drew. And of course, their top back, Ty Gurley, 169 carries for 800 yards and 11 touchdowns. That is outstanding. This man has 11 rushing touchdowns already half the year. Alvin Kamara, 92 carries, 408 yards for 7 touchdowns. The top receiver is Woods. Robert Woods, 46 total catches for 672 yards, 3 touchdowns. Of course, Mike Thomas, 58 catches for 669 yards with 4 touchdowns. Now, they talk about the Rams defense, and they have offense. They're a very balanced team. So is the Saints. The Saints are healthy where it counts for the most part, playing good where it counts for the most part. They added Eli Apple, who was outstanding in the last game. DC, make your call on this one. This is a tough one. I'm going to have you to make your call on it. What do you think? Who's going to win this game? Saints or the Rams? And how?
It ain't tough at all to me. I see the Saints winning this game. Like me and you were talking on the phone off air. We have the most confident team in the league, man. And when I say team, I mean team. Not the most confident players. We have the most confident team. If you look at top 5 statistics in most categories, you're not going to find any of our players in top 5. You're like, what? That's crazy. But what you will find is a bunch of guys that are right there, close to that. And it just shows that it isn't all about statistics. We're playing great as a unit, man. This team is on a mission. They know that they need this game against the Rams at home. If we were playing away, maybe this would be a game we could get to the Rams after coming off such an emotional win with the Vikings. I mean, I know we said it's just another game, but it's not. But having this going on and then having the rest of the stuff going on in the city of New Orleans, the Pelicans are playing good. LSU will be playing Alabama. What if LSU wins and beats Alabama? And then you got that crowd coming in to a game on Sunday for the Saints playing a number for basically the shot at being the number 1 team in the NFC. Man, everybody in the dome gonna be up to play. We might have a Washington Redskins type vibe with a history game. You know, so I see the Saints winning this game. I'm gonna go ahead and throw out a score of I say 33-28.
33-28. That's a really nice game, man. To be honest with you, that's actually going to be a pretty damn good game. I'm looking at it. This is going to be the toughest contest all season long for this. This team is red hot coming in this. Playing balance. Ty Gurley is not playing like a girly at all. More like a manly. It's a little joke. But I mean, but the reality of the situation is you look at Brandon Cooks. He's coming there. He wants a little revenge. Robert Woods playing guard. And then guess what? Cooper Kupp is back. So he's going to play in this game. It's going to be a very interesting contest. I'm going to have to lean on my Saints right here because I just like how Cam Jordan and the rest of the guys are talking. We'll hear some stuff on the other side to break it by the rest of those guys. They break down this game. Be quite honest with your Saints family. I'm looking at this game and I said the Saints got this game, man. They playing at an all-time high, knocking off the Vikings after what they did to the squad last year and then get suiting up for the Rams who beat them last year too. The revenge tour continues, baby. And the Saints going to show the NFC why and the whole NFL and put them on notice to let them know that they are the real deal and that they're Super Bowl contenders. So get ready for the bandwagon fans to jump on in this one. Get ready for all of them people. Get rid of for all those stinking, rotten national sports people that start jumping on the bandwagon. The ones that been saying that the Saints ain't now yet and all that. Get ready for those jerks to jump on the bandwagon as well. So the Saints are going to get this one. I don't know if it's going to be as high as what DC saying. I think it'll probably be a little bit close. I don't think it's going to be a shootout because I'm going to give credit to both defenses making plays. But I'm going to say that the score is going to be 24-21. Saints coming up with the win. 24-21 in this one.
You got 2 of the top offenses out there.
Don't mean nothing. You got 2 good defenses, too. So at the end of the day, that's my score, 24-21. Saints get the win over the Rams in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
But I want to point out one thing before we move on. Another reason I think we get the win is also this. I don't think nobody's thinking about it. I think the Rams might be a little scared, man. They went out and acquired Dante Flowers Jr. specifically for this game, if you ask me. So to me, that lets me know that they don't feel like they up to par to compete with us. We stay pat. We feel confident in the group we have and what we can do going into this Rams game. So it's a small thing. I guess to most people, I'd be like, well, you would want to improve your team if you could. But I really think they feel they need something extra, especially after that Green Bay game where Green Bay kind of exposed their defense, if you ask me, and gave us the blueprint on how to beat them. You got two of the best offenses out there, bro. So you say it's low scoring, I don't see how.
I said defense. That's why I say that. Defense is going to step up and make sure it keep that score.
Best offenses in the whole league, though,
defense
man.
trumps offense, brother. We all know that.
Bro. Not in this new game. It used to. Not in the new league.
I still say I'm going to keep my score 24-21 Saints. And we're about to go to the break here on the other side of the break. But before we get to the break here, I want to make mention of the fact that please feel free to subscribe to all of our channels. If you're a boxing fan, there's Ring Kings Boxing. Get all the latest updates and breakdowns on your favorite fighters at Ring Kings Boxing. That is in the description section, as long as if you're a Tiger fan, if you're an LSU Tiger fan, there is a podcast for you called Tough Tiger Talk, where we talk about college football, LSU style, and we break it down, interviews from Coach O, and we go over the LSU games. You can also follow us if you're an LSU fan. And, of course, Pelican Post Game Report, where we talk about our pals. A lot of great people follow us there as well. So feel free to subscribe to those channels as well. Anyway, let's go into our break. When we come back on the other side of the break, we'll finish up on some Saints news. We'll talk about a certain defensive back not named Marshawn Lattimore or Eli Apple that got the Defensive Player of the Week award. Dig that. We'll also have interviews from a handful of Saints. We'll have interviews from Drew Brees and a handful of other Saints on the other side of the break. We'll also have the Sports Coma question of the day we'll give to you, and replies from the previous question. All that on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? It's Big Q talking at you from the PRO Media Network, letting you know that we're attempting to make things a lot simpler on our listeners and viewers of our mini podcast. So as a result, we're leasing down a lot of our shows to have their own channels for your convenience. Starting soon, shows like Ring King Boxing, LSU's Tough Tiger Talk, the Pelican Post Game Report will all have their own individual YouTube channels. So thank you for working with us during this process. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your donations and support for our platform as we continue to improve moving forward. Peace.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that? Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000. Celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registrars and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right, welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. We're breaking down the Saints, previewing this game between the Rams and the Saints coming up Sunday in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. We already gave our predictions and broke down, gave you the injury reports and all of that.
Gave him another bold prediction, Q. I was close last week.
So we're going to move on to the next topics dealing with the show on this side of the break. We're going to talk about interviews. We're going to have some interviews from Drew Brees as he talks about the challenge that's ahead of him with the Rams. Marcus Davenport will chime in. We'll hear what he had to say. We also have a word or two from Sheldon Rankins, who had a great performance, 2-sack performance against the Vikings, and his shimmy, his big man shimmy. And again, we'll listen to what they got to say momentarily. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about give credit where credit's due, I guess. And they have a defensive back by the name of P.J. Williams, who was named as the player of the week in the game against the Vikings. Of course, P.J. had a pick and a pick six, which is the best kind of interception anybody could have. Not only did he pick the ball, he ran it for a touchdown. He had a pick six, and he also forced a fumble in the Vikings win. So P.J. Williams did turn it up in a couple of plays, made some decent plays. Prior to that, he was stinking. He was rotten and stinking in this game, getting beat all over the place. But he had a miraculous turnaround in the win to help, and as a result, they named him as the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Now, I guess that's got to be a first time for P.J. Williams to win anything for the Saints, except for the award of getting beat like a dog. And they said the award is the first of his career, so big ups to P.J. Williams for getting the Defensive Player of the Week. He did have that interception and pick six and then the fumble. So you can't take nothing away from P.J. Williams. Did a terrific job picking that ball off because Stephon Diggs cut his route off. So he was smart enough to keep running and take it all the way. And that really punched the Vikings in the nose and really killed a lot of their momentum in the game. So big ups to P.J. Williams, man, for being the NFC's defensive player of the week. Isn't that something? Isn't that special? Now, moving on, let's go and listen to what some of these Saints guys talking about. In particular, here's Drew Brees talking about how big of a challenge it is against this Rams club. Here's Drew.
Drew, do you have any memories of going against Wade-Phillips defenses, and what are the characteristics?
Yeah. Well, so Wade was the defense coordinator in San Diego when I was there for 2 years, 04 and 05. Did an awesome job there. He's been one of the best defensive coordinators in this league for a really long time. His players love him, and they play hard for him. He's got a very aggressive scheme, you know. Every Wade defense that I've gone up, Wade Phillips defense I've gone up against had a really good pass rush, you know, and they manufacture ways to obviously get that pressure. These guys they got a ton of great players up front, and then obviously they're good on the back end as well. So they fly around, they play fast, they play aggressive. That's what makes them so good.
And they added Dante Fowler.
Yeah, I saw that. They couldn't have waited a week. He's. I don't know as much about him other than seeing a little bit of him on film with Jacksonville. He hasn't been there when we've been playing him, but he obviously adds some juice to that D-line that's already really stout.
Have you ever seen two defensive tackles like this on the same team?
I don't think so. Not since we played the University of Georgia in 1999, the 99 season in the Outback Bowl, and it was Marcus Stroud and Richard Seymour. Yeah, that was a pretty stout defensive interior front. But no, I mean at this level, it's really unheard of to have Sue and Donald in there. Those guys are unbelievable.
How much are you guys enjoying this right now? I guess with the stakes being what they are. I know it's early in the season, but we're talking about one of the two best teams record-wise in the NFC.
Yeah.
Having a chance to, I guess, fight it out for number one seed.
Listen, it's exciting. It's a great challenge. But here's the thing: it's one game, and yes, it's a big game. Yes, it's against a great opponent who is undefeated and is playing exceptionally well right now. But for us, it's just another opportunity for us to take the next step to continue to improve. I like the track that we're on, but we can still get better.
Drew, does watching Sean McVay and his innovation remind you at all of what you guys have been doing the last decade plus here?
Yeah, I mean, I think we like to feel like over the last 13 years that we've kind of been at the forefront of the evolution of offensive football. Obviously, Sean with Sean and with Pete Carmichael and Joe Lombardi and others who have contributed to that. kind of taking the personnel that you have and being able to utilize it in some really unique ways. And then from a schematic standpoint, just doing some things that maybe everybody else in the league just take, you can't help but turn on the film and be intrigued by the things that they're doing. And obviously, I think Jared Goff is playing as well as anybody right now. He's got a bunch of weapons there at the receiver position that are lighting it up. Todd Gurley, one of the best backs in the league. But it's the complement of all those guys and the way they play together, and obviously the scheme and what Sean McVay's doing, and so there's a lot that goes into that, and they all deserve a ton of credit.
And that was Drew Brees breaking down what he thought about the upcoming matchup. Let's move ahead. We're going to now move into Sheldon Rankins and his thoughts of what the Saints got to do against the Rams. Here's Rankins.
I know this you won't be going against him, but what stands out to you about Aaron Donald?
I don't want to heap too much praise of him because we play them, but honestly, God, he's probably the best defensive tackle I've ever watched. That's just as honest as I can put it. There's really not anything he doesn't do well. I don't really know what else to say about that. He's a hell of a player. What is he at, like 10 sacks right now in 8 games? That's unbelievable, but we got to stop him. Point blank period. We got to stop him.
That was Sheldon Rankins breaking it down. We got one more player for you to chime in. Of course, it's Marcus Davenport, the rookie sensation, who's going to be out for a month. Too bad. But he's been dinged up, banged up. Hopefully he can have him back for the playoff stretch so we can ultimately get things going. So here's Marcus Davenport to talk about what's going on with him.
Last few games have been really good. It's more or less, I'm just mad that, this happened to come at this time, or just happened to come in general. That's about it.
And how did you feel like things were kind of coming along for you at this point in the season?
I felt okay with it. I still was looking at the negative things I could have done better, but, sometimes you got to take the good with the bad.
How do you feel about the depth on the right side of the line in the possibility that you were not able to play?
We're a pretty set team, pretty set D-line. We have depth. I'm just one piece.
Marcus, what were the things you didn't feel like you were doing well? You said you concentrate on the negatives. What did you feel like you weren't doing well?
Better transition into a rush. They were able to jump set me, grab my outside shoulders. From there, I really had to work a quick move and use my length to keep away at bay and actually use a move.
That was Davenport giving you a little information on how he felt about things. So going ahead, DC, the Saints, man, we talked about the Saints coming at teams with pass rushers and waves. Of course, with the absence of Davenport, the absence of the Trey Hendrickson, who was a decent defensive end bringing pressure, he's not there. You got Mitch Lowen, who's been missing most of the season with that bad back. Now you got Alex Okafor there. You're hoping some pressure for Daniel Onyemata. Of course, Sheldon Rankins, he had 2 sack performance last week. Of course, Cam is going to be called upon to keep doing what he got to do. How are we going to generate that pressure? We're going to send that blitz in there. What's your thoughts on kind of, helping out Cam? I know Okafor can handle the weight, but what do you think the Saints got to do to bring more pressure against this Ram team?
We're going to have to trust in the process, man, and use, I can't really say waves, but we're going to have to use our additional depth that we have and make sure people stay fresh. So Onyemata is going to have to get some time. We know Stalwart's been getting a lot of time from him because he's been playing amazing. But we're going to have to rotate our D tackles to keep them fresh. We're going to have to rotate our M's like our ends like we've been doing with Okafor, make sure they stay fresh. And it's going to be a big, big thing to slow Todd Gurley down in the passing game so you'll be able to attempt a blitz or something with your linebacker without being scared that he's going to tear you up out of the backfield. So we got our hands full, man. And even more so why I see it being not quite a shootout, but a high-scoring game because this is a tall task. But if you've seen anything, you've seen last week Green Bay did it, and they don't have a front seven we have. And they were able to get pressure on Goff. And as you can see, once you got pressure on him, he looked a little different, man. Any quarterback is not the same under pressure. So that has to be the focus of our defensive game plan. And I think the Saints go out there and execute, maybe not to the tune of 4 or 5 sacks, but I say we get some pressures and at least get 3.
Very good, DC. The Sports Coma question of the day now is, do the Saints get the win against the Rams? And if they do, and when they do, are they the best team in the NFC? Now, a lot of people chimed in and asked them already. So that's the question. The Sports Coma question of the day is, and please answer that. Feel free to answer that. Of course, we did have the previous question of the day, which we asked all the Saints fandom, which is, are the Saints the best team in NFC? Let's hear what the family have to say about it. FHGM TV says Marcus Davenport is a future Hall of Fame. Book it. I said what I said. There you go. I like that confidence there. He's a future Hall of Famer. We just got to keep him healthy. Just got to get healthy, man. That's the bottom line. If he can stay healthy, I concur with you. He'll be a perfect complement next to a guy like Cam Jordan. Crass 4 chiming in. What's up, Crass? He says, the sports show is very well done. Insight analysis is always on point by both of you. Thanks, fellas. Who that? Big ups to Crass 4 for always showing the love. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for the commentary. And you guys out there make us keep our game up because you guys are so intelligent with your Saints information. And we're privileged to be able to have conversation and talk to you. Grass 4. Who that? Is Jason King chiming in, new commenter. He says, who that? Drew that. To that. There you go. That's big ups to Jason King. Big ups to Jason King as he chiming in. Lance Kelly's chiming in. He said that intro is banging, man. Great time to beat the Rams in the Dome. We should play them how we did Baltimore. Ball control and good D. Good comment, Lance Kelly. So we love Lance chiming in right there, breaking it down. Absolutely. Now let's go. Tim Russ chimes in. What's up, Tim? Tim says, if they beat the Rams, then I'll say they're the best in the NFL. I still question some of the play calling by Sean. We're not really using our running backs like we should. We have 2 tackles who are the top 10 in the league. Andrews Pete and Larry Warford are better run blockers. We should easily be leading the league in rushing yards. Running the ball will keep the ball out of the other team's possession. Other teams know that our secondary is not playing well. It would help not to give the other team a chance to expose our secondary. If the other teams play the run, then they have to deal with Drew and the receivers. Once we utilize our strength, then I say we're the best. Very interesting comment, very sharp by Tim Russ, and Tim was a former.
We're not trying to load up and play powerhouse football. Andrews Pete is in and out of a lot of injuries to do that. So, but it's good commentary that you noticed that. And I've been looking at that as well. And I think Sean Payton is trying to do the best with the personnel that he has and with the injuries and stuff that we're dealing with. So you should see us run more as the season goes on, though. And Ingram just came back. Good comment there, Tim. Tim's a former high school offensive lineman, so he knows what he's talking about there. He knows football. Right, Jeff. Let's go to Jeff Champagne. What's up, Jeff? He says, as a Saint, it's complicated. It's a complicated question. And I would have to say no. Interesting, Jeff says that. Let's see what else he says. As a whole, that is a resounding no, but close to equal with the Rams. That is only due to the fact that our secondary is still not to par even with the addition of Eli Apple. Hopefully, some meshing happens before the Rams game and we can make some 3 and outs happen. Rams will be, I think the defense works better as a whole if we're going. So that was pretty intelligent commentary as usual from you, and you just keeping it real, man. And that's all I can ask for. Just keep, you honest opinion about it. I asked you a question. You said, well, they're up there with the Rams, but that's why we play the games so that we can match these teams, up against each other and see who's got it that day. Now the Rams have been running over teams. They've been playing hard, and they'll be interested to see if the Saints. Listen, I put it to you like this. The Saints offensive line, and I'm not saying this because I grew up a Saints fan. I'm saying this because it's a goddamn fact. The Saints have the best offensive line in football. When those guys are healthy, there is no better 5 linemen in the league than what the Saints are putting up. You mentioned it yourself. Top 10, Tim said it himself about the top 10 tackles they have. Those guys, those 2 excellent tackles in the league in Ramczyk and Armstrong. Warford and Andrews Pete are 2 of the better offensive guards in the game. And then you have a top 3 center in the league, and Max Unger. The Saints have the best offensive line in football. They get ready to take on a stiff defense like what they're bringing with those 3 fabulous defensive linemen and that excellent secondary. Listen,
the Saints have everything it takes to play this team. And they have the attitude. Think about it. Do they have the attitude to compete? This year they do. They've knocking off of teams that gave them problems last year. You know, the Saints already this year, and you could tell everybody's all in. It's an all in or to the moon and bust mentality, to the Super Bowl or bust mentality. Drew knows his time is clicking down. The entire team knows, even as the management is moving pieces around and making and seeing the weaknesses and making moves in mid-season to improve where the weaknesses are. Look at what they did. I never expected them, and I've been following them for years, to go and make a call. I knew they would make a trade, but go out and get not just go for Peter, try for Peterson, but then make a smarter trade per se for Eli Apple, giving up a 4th round draft pick to get Eli Apple in here now, and his money meshes, and he's an Ohio State Buckeye guy. Not only that, but then another unintended move when they deactivated Ken Crawley. I thought they would just, cut somebody else and put him in active, but they deactivated Crawley. That was unexpected to me. If anybody they're going to deactivate, I would have said it would have been PJ Williams, who turned in a defensive player of the week performance against the Vikings. Man, listen, it's an all in a now situation with the Saints, and they're not afraid. They're crossing off teams out of the list. They took down the Vikings. They get Drew Brees' record. They beat the Baltimore Ravens, a team that they both Sean and Drew never beat. It's a bucket list. It's a revenge thing going on in the Rams, the next on the hit list. So we don't beat you up, Jeff. You have excellent commentary, and you just speaking and talking the truth. But that's why they play the games. We'll see Sunday night. DJ Austin chime in.
That was your comment, Big Q?
Go ahead. You want to comment? Go ahead and chime in.
Man, I can't comment, man. He took all the words from my mouth, man. We ain't left to say for me.
Next up is DJ Austin, man. DJ chiming in. What's going on, DJ? DJ says, well, to answer the question, I'll make the thoughts on the question after the Rams game and also the Pittsburgh Steelers game. But for right now, yes, we are the best team in the NFC. Thank you, DJ. Appreciate you, buddy. Zoom Toy says he said, Zoom Toy said we had 3 QBs on the field. How about 4 with Barrett? That is very unique. The Saints had 3 quarterbacks on the field at the same time. That was just like,
why has everybody gave us flack about that, man? I actually thought that was a good idea.
I don't think Zoom Toys is disrespectful. I think he just really excited about the fact that the Saints' creativity offensively this year has just been outstanding. The Saints have a wildcat. I don't think that's fully sunk into a lot of people that we now have a wildcat, and the wildcat kind of went its way for the last 2 or 3 years or so. The Wildcat done died down over a period of time. The Saints bringing it back. Taysom Hill is a guy that people sitting down, they have to game plan for Taysom Hill that he's going to hurt him. You can't ignore him no more. That adds another wrinkle to what the Saints are doing, and they already was a dangerous team before you even did that. So it's just like you can't stop them because they have so many ways to hit you with. You put Taysom Hill out there on special teams. Special teams got to watch and see if they're going to throw the ball or sneak a play in on you. Then you got excellent special teams for the Saints with Morstead and Will Lutz kicking and hitting everything. Morstead pinning them back in the side of the 10 and the 5-yard line. Will Lutz kicking stuff from 50 yards out. How you going to still deal with that? The Saints are focused at so many levels. It'll take me days to break it down. Anyway, let's go to Kelvin Thomas, the last commenter. Kelvin Thomas chiming in. What's up, Kelvin? He said, bro, once he learned the playbook, Eli Apple is going to be a problem. That is right, Kelvin. Big ups to you, man. Hey, bro, the man had 9 tackles in his first game. Solo. You know what I'm saying? The man, he looked really crisp in the game, and he's only going to get better. He's only going to get better and better and better. We have talent back there now. We got almost a full Ohio State secondary back there. Those guys are excellent. They're going to be playing well. Marshawn Lattimore going to bring Eli Apple along. So with Bell. The Saints looking terrific. DC also, that'll do it for the commenters. Thank you guys for chiming in. Also remember our question of the day for today to chime in on that as well. DC, the Saints also did a little something. They tried to bring in another defensive back. It's defensive back Ubi Melifonwu or whatever, how you butchered his name. But the Saints were looking at this man. He's a former Raider guy. And I remember the Saints, some mock drafts have the Saints taking this kid. Saints looked at him. He leaves without a contract. What would it, in your opinion, you followed this story, what were the Saints looking at?
I believe the Saints were looking at potentially running a 3 safety set and moving away from P.J. Williams as much and 3 cornerback out because they don't want to continually be targeted. I mean, P.J.'s out there that was sticking on him. He wound up with the defensive play of the game, but we watched the game, man. P.J. did give up a lot of catches and stuff like that. We're looking at alternatives in our secondary to try to get things mentioned and gelling, or at least until they mention gel. More twisties out there. The guy that we're looking at was a potential draft pick. Like you said, they had him going to us. The second pick, he went the second round. He runs a 4.40. He's very big, very fast. He's supposed to have coverage ability, but in Oakland he didn't look too well. But maybe it was the system. He did go to 2 other teams, the Patriots and I think Houston or something like that. Nobody gave him a contract. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe good for us. Maybe if we get him, he'll be good, maybe bad. So I think the Saints are looking to make potentially one more move or one more pickup at that cornerback position, and maybe potentially considering keeping King Crawley inactive unless we need him for injury purposes or whatever. But,
another news dealing with the Saints news: Tommy Lee Lewis returned to Saints practice, and he's eligible to return from IR in Week 11.
No.
So Tommy Lee is looking the part to make a plays back at practice and could possibly help out. And he was placed on injury reserve, if you remember, back in September the 19th following the Saints win against the Browns. And he was quoted as saying, "It was good to get out there and run around, be back with the guys. Whenever I'm eligible to go, I'll be ready." So the Saints also have that in their pockets as well, to have a speedster like Tommy Lee back on the team. He is eligible and back at practice and ready to come back in Week 11. So we'll see exactly how perhaps the Saints will bring him in and then put Austin Carr back on the special practice squad. So who knows, man? The Saints have a lot of ideas, a lot of things they can do here as the year continues. Anyway, that'll do it for the show. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for chiming in today with the Sports Coma. Appreciate all our commenters and all our listeners, both new and established listeners. As always, if you enjoy the show, please go to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. Remember that the links for that is in the description section, along with our social media links and our sponsor links. You can help out the Sport Coma in those 3 ways: by sharing the show with your friends and family members, putting it on your Facebook page, into Instagram pages, or what have you, sharing the show. You can also go and shop or buy something from our sponsors. That helps the show, as well as, subscribing. That also helps the show. So in other words, we appreciate you guys, and we here talk Saints and sports with you, and we thank you guys for joining us as well. So from me and DC and the entire crew at the Sports Coma, appreciate you. Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and support the true independent artists.
Tea is your escape. It's your opportunity to create a moment for stillness, for reflection, for yourself. It's your connection to a world of senses, flavors both exotic and familiar, energizing and relaxing. It's your retreat from an increasingly turbulent world. It's the perfect paradox of simplicity and complexity. Teabox.com connects tea to people, uniting the richest flavors of the finest teas with the curious, the cultivated, and the adventurous all over the world. The freshest tea you've ever tasted, from crop to cup. There's simply no simpler way to experience the wonderful complexity of tea. Teabox, packing up the freshness. Tea thrives on freshness, and so do they. T-Box temperature and humidity control facility ensure that tea is maintained. The teas themselves go into oblique bags with aluminum layers that protect them from excess moisture and light. With T-Box, shopping for fresh, loose leaf tea is easy because you make an informed purchase. You know exactly where your tea is coming from. So for the freshest teas in the world, check out tbox.com. That's right, tbox.com. Check the link in the description section below. Go to newfrog.com for all of your electronic gadget needs. Fast becoming #1 online seller of cell phone and accessories, consumer electronics, automobiles and motorcycles, home and garden items, 5D diamond painting crafts, electrical and tool supplies, computer and networking supplies, lights and lighting supplies, sports and travel items, toys and hobby supplies, apparel and accessories, mother and kid items, health and beauty items, and much, much more. Newfrog.com has up to 70% off on some products. And you can check out their weekly promotions for all the best deals. Remember, when thinking online electronics and gadgets, think New Frog. Newfrog.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Vapor DNA is the absolute premier online vape store, offering an industry-leading selection of e-cigarettes, e-liquids, and accessories. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service team is always ready to provide the best customer service experience to ensure you find what you're looking for. We guarantee our vaping gear shop products to be 100% genuine and the lowest price. We are so confident in our selection and our customer service. We will offer our customers a 45-day refund policy. That's right, a 45-day refund policy. We are proud of this offer for 3 simple reasons: quality, selection, and price. And that is the reason you should choose Vapor DNA for all your vaping needs. That's www.vapordna.com. Again, that's www.vapordna.com.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
What's up, sports world? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share. And help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.